Hello students. So I'm going to be going over some Illustrator basics. Your Illustrator is going to look a little bit different than mine, but the tools are pretty much the same. All right, so the first thing I want you to do is go up to here to Windows, click the Windows button, and I want you to go to uh, Pathfinder, okay, and click this little Pathfinder guy, all right? This is really important for a couple of the next steps, okay? And it's gonna actually, what it's gonna do is, it's gonna be like a little window that you'll see like this. It's gonna pop this up. Just go ahead and grab this little guy here and just drag it to your sidebar so you see it here. This is the Pathfinder option here, and we'll be using what's called divide, okay? But that's later on, okay? I just want you to have that accessible right now. And again, I'll show you how to access this later. So I have already pulled up a picture that I had on my desktop. It's heavily edited. I don't remember who this is, but I used it for one of my blog news stories or whatever. I don't even remember what I used it for. I think it was like top 10 apps that I use or something like that. Anyways, it doesn't matter. What we're going to be doing is making this into a polygon face, okay? And I'm not going to do very much. I'm just maybe going to do a little bit of it, just the step by step. So we're going to be using this pen tool, okay? If you look up here, it's literally called pen tool. The shortcut on the keyboard is P, all right? So you press P, you'll have a pen tool, all right? And there's two ways of using the pen tool. There's click to click, right, to make your little shape, or you can actually draw with it. So if you click and hold, you'll see these two guys come out, right? And that just starts out your curve. So this is also for curved lines. So that's maybe your first shape, and then going on this side of the curve will start bending your line, okay? It takes a little bit getting used to draw like this, okay? Especially if you've never used this, but it's pretty self-explanatory. I can make a little heart, okay, just like that, and end your curve. So everything loops around. If you don't want to make a complete loop, that's totally fine. It's up to you. I'm going to delete these two things. Okay, so the second thing from this Pathfinder, actually, I want you to set this little thing. So this is your fill, and this is your stroke or border. So you could hit X. This is X, and then this is X as well. It doesn't really matter what color you use. You double click to choose a color, right? But these are really important. If you have something, a color in here, click on this bar, or I think on your version you have to like hold something down, but I want none. Okay, so another way to do this is simply selecting this and then just hitting the question mark without the shift, and it'll directly go to none for you, okay? So it's just a slash where the question mark is, okay? So I have it on the black here, and I'm going to choose my pen. And you could start anywhere, really. I'm just going to start with outlining the face. And actually, you know what? I'm going to choose white, just because I could see it better. So I'm going to do click to click. So I don't want any curves. Okay, so I'm just going to click it. Okay, and then kind of find a good next area to go. Okay, so just click to click her or whatever face you're doing, whatever face you're going to be outlining. And I'm just going to outline the face shape. Okay, I don't want too many clicks in here. Okay, so just really broad, long lines. Okay, so just like that. I'm going to combine it. There it is. There's the outline. And then what I want you to do is start outlining the features, like the eyebrows, again, with just broad, general shapes. Nothing tremendously detailed, nothing accurate. Or accurate, but nothing detailed. I don't want any short lines in here. Okay, this is going to take a majority of your time, honestly. Okay, or it should. I do want you to be accurate. I don't want this to be sloppy. So here's, the nose is going to be tricky because you're not actually outlining the nose. You're outlining the shadow of the nose. Okay. which you'll be doing for other things as well. You'll be outlining the shadows of everything. So I think that maybe right here and right here is pretty good. And you could also decide where you want things, where you want your polygons, but they should be pretty accurate, relatively accurate. Okay, there's an outline. I'm going to outline this shadow. And you're going to be doing both. You're going to be doing shadows and highlights. Okay, so the shadows are shadows. Highlights are the bright spots. Okay, I'm going to go in here. And for like the features, you're going to have to get semi-detailed. Okay, so again, outline the mouth. And just take your time on doing this. I make it look easy because I've done this. So I'm going to speed this up. I'm going to speed the video up a little bit as I do this so you can see towards the middle of the next process. So I'm going to outline this stuff and speed it up. So I zoomed in, okay. I used Alt and then the scrolly. When you're finished with a line, simply just hit Escape and then continue on with a new line. Okay, so I've kind of outlined everything as much as I kind of want to here. Now you're going to start connecting things. So like wherever there's an angle, you're just going to take the simplest route and just connect it. Angle here, connect it here, right? And you could connect it to more than one node, totally fine, right? You're going to have to press escape every time though, so you have new lines and only lines that connect these, okay? And try to go with the flow of the face, right? So connect the polygons where they make sense. Don't just haphazardly do that, right? So I'm just going to leave off here. The rest you guys could fill in by yourself. So the next process, after you've kind of got a lot of angles in here, or a lot of little shapes, smaller shapes inside, right? It looks all puzzly now, which is great. You're going to have a lot of detail in the hair. Make sure you get all that detail in the hair. The mouth, the eyes, all that stuff can be pretty detailed. All right, so just use the Alt and scroll in to get the shapes or to get everything outlined. Okay, so the next thing, here's the important part. Okay, I'm going to scroll out just a little bit. I'm going to use the black arrow, or the shortcut for that is V, and I'm going to select the photo here, and I'm going to lock it. And that actually should be the first thing you do. It's okay if you didn't do it. But anyway, so I'm going to select everything, all the lines and stuff. The reason I lock the photo is because I can't select it now, and I don't want to select it. I just want the lines. I just want all the lines selected. And so once they're all selected, go ahead over here, go to the Pathfinder, and hit that divide button. Hit that divide. Now what it's going to do is it's going to make its own shapes based on what you drew, okay? And it's going to divide everything up, which is what you want, okay? Because once you start selecting individual ones, you'll see here in a second. So I'm going to ungroup it. So right after selecting just this one bar, you'll see it's all grouped together. Any line will do, any selection. Hit that ungroup button right there, and then deselect it. Now you see that I'm only selecting individual parts. This is very, very, very good. This is what you want. Okay, so I'm going to use I. I'm going to hit the letter I for eyedropper. And I'm going to select a couple of colors here. I think I want kind of in between here. I want like that right there. And it's going to give me that color, whichever color I have. So I go in between. I have my hand on V, my pinky on V, the letter V, and my index finger on I. So I could bounce back and forth. And I just select another shape and kind of get a median. Okay, select another shape and kind of get a median. Now you're going to get this sometimes where you're going to fill in a whole ton of shapes. Don't worry about that. It happens. Let's see if I have to ungroup it. No, I don't. Let me see if there's anything. Make compound path. No. Sometimes you'll just get that. Totally okay. Just pick the best color that suits it. All right, and move on. Okay, that's good. And so you'll see what's going to happen. What's happening is I'm getting an average inside of these shapes. I'm getting an average color, and you'll see. Oh, that's a really large shape. Oh, that's because it's way on the outside. That's okay. We'll make that yellow. Okay. I don't quite know what to do with this shape yet. I don't know which color. I have to break this down a little bit more, so I'm not even going to touch that yet. Let's do that. See, so sometimes you can't select the shape because other shapes are surrounding it. That's okay. Click inside and drag a box. See how it's selecting this shape and this shape? If you hold shift and deselect that shape, you'll have the shape that you want. Okay, and I'll show you more on that. And I just do a little bit. I think that's too dark. Let me choose another color. There, perfect. Okay, go to a different box, select the color. Go to a different box, select the color. And so you'll do this for all of your boxes here. And you get to choose, you get to play around with the colors a little more. And what I'm doing is normalizing and blocking everything out. It has a really cool effect in the end. I've showed you that before. I've showed you in class. If not, you could see it on the site there. As a neat effect, and that's how you do it. You do a manual outline, and it's great because you don't have any app that does it for you. You know how to do this now, and you own it. This is your work, and I think that's awesome, right? And when people ask you, whoa, how'd you do that? What app did you use? You say, I didn't use an app. I made it with my own hands, right? I'm going to save that one because it's not outlined quite yet. Right? So you're going to get this effect. And the more colors you have, of course, the better, because this is a very, this didn't have very many colors. So it didn't get, it's not as dynamic, right? But the more you do, they'll start to change, and it's really cool to see what happens. So hopefully you have a great photo, and if you want, you could even increase. Actually, what you should do is play around in Photoshop so you get many variations of colors. So decrease the contrast if there's too much contrast, or increase the contrast if there's not enough contrast. So play around with the photo first for a little bit, not too long, and then once you get the right look, you can start doing this. Okay, so after you're done with it, you can save it as, go save for web, and save it as a JPEG. And the JPEG drop down is right here. Just save it as a JPEG for me and go to the save button, and it'll ask you to title everything, and just title it whatever, and then upload it to the classroom assignment box. Okay, and that should be it. And this should take you a good amount of time to do. Please put in your best effort on this, because if you don't, it won't look cool, and you'll get I don't know, you'll get boos from people you show it to. They'll just kind of, whatever. I don't care about this. I'll give you attitude about it. I want you to really have something to show off, and I want to print off some of the best ones, and hang them up, all right, and display them out there. So that's about all I have to say on this. Remember, if you don't have the Pathfinder, it's under Windows, Pathfinder. You have that clicked. It'll show up, and just put it into your sidebar so you always have it. And again, the tools you'll be using is your black selection tool to select the shapes. You'll be using the pen tool to draw out your shapes. Okay, and you'll be using the eyedropper to select the colors that you want for your shapes. Okay, remember, this is the fill box and this is the outline box. Choose whatever color you see best when you're outlining, because sometimes if you use too dark a color, you just don't see the lines very clearly. So choose either white or fluorescent green, or just something that really stands out, because it won't last. The color won't be there. As soon as you hit the eyedropper button, boom, those outlines disappear, so you don't see the white anymore. All right, so do that, and turn it in. Okie dokie. End of transmission.